Okay, so we're at part 3 now. This is the new motherboard. As you notice, its design is a little different. It has the security buffer airflow controllers here because this side was not used in the original configuration. And of course, we've got our slots, our empty sleeves. Empty sleeves are basically airflow controllers. They have them in both single DIMM format like this. And of course, they also have a variant of it that is more of a quadrant style. It's held in 1 or 2 slots, protecting all 8 slots. A little different strategy, but it's the same mindset. Anyways, 3 things you need to remember about this chassis. 1, they put these little pieces of plastic in here like this and like this. And this particular place belongs here. The only problem is I don't like this. It doesn't affect its role as airflow control. It doesn't work. It's just a piece of plastic that doesn't work very well, and it gets in your way. Don't be afraid to discard that one piece. This one, on the other hand, keep it in play. It has value. It's basically forging a wind tunnel cooling effect, which is what we want. Another very important detail is to remove the old motherboard, you have to hold this as your handle here. That's your handle. And this is your release lock. You've got to lift it up. It will slide out. The motherboard will slide back this way and up and out, and then it's freed. Remember, I told you to take pictures of your cable connections to make sure that you get them all in place. That's important because when you put the new motherboard in, there is a trick. The first part of the problem is if you slide the motherboard all the way up to the edge, like it looks like it needs to be, it is not correctly mounted. You actually have to use this NIC card to position yourself effectively correctly, because this NIC card will not sit correctly if the motherboard is pushed all the way to the back. So what ends up happening is you have to pull it back about 1 millimeter. And then as soon as you do that, and you've got your 2 fingers right here, and you push, you hear a nice click. Another important reason why this is so critical is you could jam your power supplies right in here. And as you can see, there's nothing there right now. But as you push in your power supply, you want that click. If it's too far forward, these lock releases will not click. And that tells you that you've gone too far. So you just gently put in a basically a washer-like setup. Push it back, watch it, fit it, make sure it's working right. And at that point stage, you are good to go. Now, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so give me a break. But these riser cards also have to go in a particular order because they are uniquely sized. And you want to make sure that they are going in right, so that they're not going to be a problem, because this is a slip here, this version here, and that's important because it allows a card to sit on top of these hard drives, and that can be fitted with the other one, but it's too small, and so because of that problem, it would not work correctly. Now, this motherboard is now mounted, and you want to look down there to make sure that you've got all your edges clean and that there's no exposed gold out there. That is not a good sign. And then you want to double check all your inputs, which you have here. Now that looks good. So the only thing missing here now, and it's going to take me a little time to accomplish this, is basically to go in, clean the processors off the old motherboard. There they are. And to clean the CPU coolers as well. And then I will have to pull memory, about 46 gigs, I think. And I'll put basically, probably 48 gigs. I'll pull 48 gigs and I'll put 24 and 24 on each side of the fence. Now, one of the very important detail that is missing, by the way, is how do you know what type of RAM resources do you need? Well, that's easy. It's on the cover. You just have to take the cover and look at it, and right there are your RAM orders. It tells you how to basically place and stage your memory. So don't fret too much on that. And of course, don't fret too much on the BIOS config either, because you'll have some options out there, such as what's known as memory mirroring, as well as ECC registration memory, where you're reserving and allowing error correction to do a few things. It takes a little bit of resource away, but it actually makes your memory work even more efficiently. So at this point in stage, the only thing we have left to do next is to stage the fans, which I'll put in. And the next time we will touch base with each other, we will be dealing with the process of checking it, booting it, making sure that it's operational, and so on. Until then, for part 4, I'll let you go. Bye.